Dakota Conversations. This is Kevin.
Just you see,
Yeah, what's been going on, man?
man, I'm thankful, thankful to have a job, man. Thankful to be
Yeah,
here. Um, yeah, same old, but I'm blessed to be able to say that. You know what I mean?
mm, yeah. There's
Um,
10 layoffs going on, man.
that's the scary thing, man. It's like everywhere you look, it's like layoffs here, layoffs there, and I'm like, dang, and it's not like small people. It's
Mm,
these are big companies, right? Like
yeah,
Not Square. Sony was saying that they had a loss of profit. I think you said like 25% or something like that.
yeah,
Or Microsoft had a loss of profit for 11%,
yeah. And then
and it's like,
Robinhood, they cut like 25, or they're going to cut 25% of their employees. That's that stock trading company.
yeah, yeah, everyone's hurting. Everybody's hurting, and it's like it's wow. At the top, everybody's hurting, and then you go to like these fast food places or whatever.
Mm,
It's a poor example, but you go to like McDonald's or whatever, and people are hiring. All these places that you look, everybody's hiring.
yeah.
It's like, are we gonna have a bunch of engineers working drive-through?
Right. I mean, it might have to, man. Sadly enough, like if they can't find anything else, which I don't, when there's so many layoffs and there's so many people competing for the same few openings, that's going to be
Yep.
like, you know,
Yep.
the salary is going to go down for a lot of people. So,
Yep.
how are they going to pay that massive mortgage they got? All these people buying like houses for like 800,000, 700,000.
Yeah.
They get laid off. Then they got to find a new job, but the new jobs only pay like 70% of what they were making before. Like, how do you sustain yourself?
I don't know. I don't know. You gotta have some type of backup plan. Like if the people that are in those hired in these like big positions, like that are making six figures or whatever, or any software engineers, you know, that are listening to this, I would recommend like start squirreling away your money. Like just
Yeah,
like if you eat out a lot, like eat out less and start cooking at home more, and save the difference. Because
yeah.
anything can happen. You
If
know,
you get a second job, get one.
how would you do that though?
Well, I'm not saying like get another 40-hour type
Oh,
thing.
okay.
Do like a little part time, like
Part time
freelance,
gig.
whatever. You know what I mean? Like you gotta.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but you gotta scrounge up revenue how you can, man. But I think the crazy part is like once more people get laid off, that
Mm.
means less spending, and then that translates to less revenues and leads to even more layoffs. So uh, companies are gonna have to lower prices at some point because you're just gonna collapse the economy otherwise. Like if people don't have money, how can they buy and spend?
Yeah. Yeah. Unless you just keep giving away free money, and even then, when you give away free money, it's like you know it hurts. It hurts the economy even more.
Yep, just creates more inflation. So
Yeah.
how do y'all? What are your strategies for like shielding yourself from this?
Honestly, I don't have one right now. I'm not gonna lie. I don't
Yeah,
have one. And I mean, I would say the best strategy that I have is just like stay prepared. You know,
yeah,
like hope for the best, expect the worst, and like if you can save money, like save it. Like yeah, it's gonna be rough, but like I'd rather have a home and have a nest egg, like a backup plan, than live my life like you know everything's cool and go out partying and everything, and then
yeah,
the following week things turn sideways and then I lose my job.
right. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's a good thing you never got like an expensive car, man. That would be a
I
nightmare having.
know. I know. It's a clunker, and I'm blessed to have it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't imagine what it's like for people that have like newer cars that, uh, especially imported cars that have to have a lot of maintenance.
Yeah,
That's tough. It's tough.
man. Especially, yeah, it's crazy. Like, because when people buy cars, they don't, factor in the maintenance. Like, oh, the cars are going to take, it's going to cost you like $1,000 to change your tires or something.
Uh huh.
Oil change is like $200 instead of like 30 or 40. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It's
premium
like,
gas.
yeah. It's just you gotta live within your means, man.
Yeah.
I'll say just because you have the money doesn't mean you got to spend it. And I think I've said that before, where it's like just because you're making X amount of dollars doesn't mean you got to spend it all, right? Like just because if your lifestyle is if you can live comfortably on let's say $2,500, $3,000 a month, then and you come into some money that nets you 500 extra bucks a month. No need to spend that extra 500.
Mhm.
Like just pocket it, put it away.
I think a lot of people get that feeling like they always need to be doing something, like, to almost show themselves like, hey, I'm making progress. So they end up like spending.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the funny thing too. Like especially with this with social media, right? Where like you go online and you see all these people, or you can see people that you don't even know, right? You can look up a hashtag and just see random people based on their hashtags and stuff, and just doing stuff and living life. And oh, here's me jet skiing. Oh, here's me at the zoo. Oh, here's me doing this and that.
Mhm.
And you want to do that, and you want to show off, and you want to scratch that itch. Like oh,
Yeah,
I want to do that. I want to do the same thing. And then you look up how much it's gonna cost, and it's like, man, okay, that's expensive. Like I went to Anime Expo uh, this in July, and I saw the Comic Con is was last week or a couple weeks ago. I looked up ticket prices for that. It's
how
like
much is it
it
now?
was like uh, 1,000 something dollars. I want to say
Oh,
like 1,200, 1,400 bucks.
wow, I thought those
Yeah,
tickets used to be like 60 or something. Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
yeah.
But
If you
ain't no
look
way
up
I'm
San
paying that.
Diego, you look up San Diego Comic Con. You look up those tickets.
Let me tell you how much they
It's
cost, because I know Dallas has one. I don't ever recall like it being anywhere near like well, like $1,000 here. There ain't no way I'm going to like a comic convention paying $1,000 for a ticket. That's like a what, like the fancy theme park trip or something. That's a trip.
yeah, man. It was expensive, but I say this, man. Like it's just if I can wait, I'll wait. There's no reason for me to want to get out there and do it. Don't get me wrong, like the urge is there, but you just gotta ignore it.
Yeah,
If you gotta live with like a boring life, to survive, like I'd rather have that boring life and be comfortable than try to always be on the living on the edge.
yeah,
And as soon as you get money, you spend it.
exactly, man. You just at a certain point you got to put things in perspective. Like this is like you spend $1,000 for 1 or 2 days to look
Right.
at comics. You can buy a ton of art books or whatever for
But
under.
it's not about the comics though. It's about the so that's where they premiere a lot of the new trailers for the new movies and stuff. They talk about like they have those panels and stuff. So there's way more to the convention than just like merchandise.
Yeah, I just think like at that price, it's like okay, now I'm better off watching it online. You know what I mean?
Just waiting. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, if it was if tickets was like $100, okay, yeah, like
Yeah.
you spend a little bit of money just to have some fun for the weekend. But a
Yeah.
$1,000 to me is like once a year getaway type of trip or something.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. It's like, let me just, let me, yeah, if you're going to spend $1,000, like there's so much you could do with that money,
Like,
especially if you were to go to like a third world country, right? Like, oh, let me use that $1,000 to do something else with it. Like, let me stretch it as far as I can.
yeah,
Um,
I mean, even if you eat, what I'm saying, like eat out every weekend and spend like $50 at a restaurant, you could do that what like 20 times. So that'll take care of what like 40% of the year, every 20 weeks out of the year, you're doing something. Going to a restaurant, spending $50. You see what I'm saying?
yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, you if you stretch, I mean, that works both ways, right? What we're talking about works both ways. Where like, if you were to if you were to buy Starbucks every every day for a week, excluding weekends, just say you spend $5 on a cup of coffee.
Yeah,
Spend like, or let's say you spend $3 on a cup of coffee. Like that's $15 right? It's $15 a week. That's $60 a month. Multiply that by
about
12
900,
months.
30
How
times
much?
30 days. Or if you get one every day, 30 times three. That's $90, not 900.
30 times three. You're getting three coffees a day?
No, you getting you said each coffee is like $3, ain't it?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah,
You get one
yeah,
every day, so that's like $90 a month.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
that's a whole year. A whole year is about 1,000. It's like nine
Yep.
sixty.
$1,000 on coffee alone. Yeah, it's those little things, man. It's what I'm noticing. Like what I'm noticing with like how like I think we're venturing into like how to like spending money and stuff, right? So like
Yeah.
just like what I'm noticing with like how I spend money is it's it's a lot of little things that add up. Where like they upsell you on something, or you want to pay for faster shipping, or
Mm.
you need to spend a limit at least this amount to get free shipping on groceries or whatever. Like and even still, like even with Amazon Fresh, like for example, like when I order groceries, that's gone up, and it's like everyone's hurting, and everybody's trying to balance out their money, and and like there's that shift. There's a shift. So what, for example, groceries, right? Before it was okay, spend $36. Like I think they're still doing this. Spend $35 and get free shipping. Okay, cool. Spend $35 and get free shipping. But then, in order for the Amazon drivers to get paid, they don't get. I don't think they get paid on trips. They get paid through tips. I could be wrong. It could be both. But a tip, the limit was like $5. Now it's gone up to $7.
Yeah.
And so like everybody's hurting and they're trying to balance it out. And I'm noticing that like the money that I spend has gone up either as through taxes or tips or what have you. And uh yeah, it's those little things, man. Like uh going out to Starbucks and buying coffee or going to McDonald's and eating out. Like I think a meal for two and now is like $24, $25. Like it's something ridiculous.
I mean, if you just go to, I went to Subways and got a foot long sandwich. It was like $10. I remember it used to be like way cheaper than that. Like everything's significantly more expensive, man. People gonna have to start learning how to do for themselves, like make a sandwich at home. Which I should have did. Like, how hard is it to make a sandwich? Like,
It's not hard. It's not hard, but it's tempting though. Wingstop is tempting. I'm telling you.
yeah, man, not at that $20 for what
It's very tempting.
I got it the other day. Every time, sometimes you just get a craving for it, but after you eat it, you're like, man, why not? Like, it just wasn't even that good.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, that was all right. Yeah,
Man, what's kind of screwed up though is if we stop, using Uber Eats and all of that to save ourselves. A lot of people are out of a job.
on work.
They're
Yeah,
losing that opportunity.
yeah. I watched it. Speaking of Uber Eats, I watched a video the other day of a guy. He delivers Uber Eats or Door. I think he does DoorDash. I think that's what it was. But he delivers food, and somebody had reported that she didn't receive her food, and
Mhm.
he got fired from the app, and like he like went up there like raising hell
Yeah,
because she lost the customer lost him his job. And I'm thinking about that now. It's like, damn, like there's some people that do that on a daily. Like, they still do DoorDash and Uber Eats and stuff like as
yeah,
their daily job.
yeah. It's how they make that money, man. Like, especially if they don't have like like highly skilled at some kind of technical endeavor. Like, they need
Yeah,
something like that to
yeah,
generate money, man. This is kind of crazy, but I think a lot of people better stay at home because people are gonna start losing it, and like, say you lose your Uber Eats and DoorDash, and you have no other means of making money. Like, some people are gonna resort to crime, and some are just gonna explode.
yeah, yeah. That's tough. It's tough, man. That's it's tough. I
I think we should have always been aware. Like, history goes in cycles. You remember, like, you
sure.
had the Roaring '20s,
Yeah.
where people were spending freely,
Mm-hmm.
everything seemed perfect, and then right after you had the Great Depression.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we had we had a great economy. Now it's looking like we're going through that recession. So
Yeah.
we're gonna kind of have to, like, prepare for the recession, but it can present a lot of great opportunities if you're prepared. Like, you know you might, if the price of housing just significantly decreases, you might finally be able to get a house. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, but right now, like, I'm not I'm not worried about getting a home. Like,
Yeah.
I'm blessed to just have one
Yep.
and to have my own personal space. Like, then I don't have to have a roommate that's somebody that I don't know. You know, like we
All
talk
right.
about this a lot. Where I'm like, how does people affording these homes? And you see me videos on these people that are rooming with like several other people that they possibly don't even know. I'm like, dang, that's gotta suck, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't have any privacy. You don't have your own space to call your own, and you're forced to live with other people. It's like I would hate that.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think some people are just gonna end up resorting to, like, innovative ways of living. Like, oh, let me buy an RV and just camp out there for a few years or something.
there was. It's funny because there was a lady. I go on a morning walk slash run every morning, and there's this RV parked outside,
Yeah.
and then this lady like took a hose or something and attached it to, I don't know what she was doing, but I guess she somehow got there's like a red fire hydrant, and like that I'm guessing fire trucks use. Um, but she somehow was getting water from it. I don't know how, but she was
Yeah.
getting water from it.
That's crazy.
And hmm, so
No, no, I say that's crazy.
yeah, and it's like, she's doing her thing, and we came back, and she was still doing her thing, and living. I'm guessing she was living out of that RV.
Oh yeah, like you know, a lot of these truckers they're in a really good position because
Yeah,
you know they're driving, so they don't really have time to you know sit around and get bored and spend money
yeah,
and living out of their truck. So you know, a lot of
yeah,
time, you know, so you know they have an opportunity to save a ton of money and then you know
yeah.
just
Just driving. Yeah, my dad owns a couple of trucks. He used to do truck driving, and he said he would just, as soon as you pick up a load, you know, you go to the docks, you pick up a load, you drive down to Midwest or East Coast. As soon as you drop it off, turn right back around, and just, you're already off. You don't really have time to stop.
yeah.
And yeah, he's like, regardless of what happens, those loads, or like those I forget what they're called, the tank, not the tankers, but
Trailer.
the trailers, they have to be moved. You know,
Mhm. Yeah.
Trucking is probably always going to be a profession that you could do. You just got to be on the road a lot, right? That's the downfall. It's the hard part.
Yeah, it
Always
could be
driving.
kind of interesting. You know what I mean? I guess you just listen to audiobooks or something all day and just,
Yeah, get a podcast,
oh
listen
yeah.
to a podcast, audio book, something. Yeah.
If it came down to it, like, could you see yourself getting in a truck?
Um, Man, push would really have to come to shove. Like something like I'd have to be real down bad to just just forego software engineering and be a truck driver. Like I've been in the truck, and I I don't know, I prefer smaller cars. Like
Hmm.
I can't see myself getting it. Like even buying like a Ford truck or something like that. Like I can't see myself driving that. Um, Man, yeah, maybe
Yeah,
like a small maybe.
you know, if there's nothing else you can do, you know, you gotta make ends meet somehow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I if I wanted to, I could probably do it. I got family that's in the business, like on my mom's side and my dad's side. So yeah, I'm sure I got the hookups, but I would miss being behind a terminal.
Yeah,
I would miss just like, okay, get pull, get get merge, like all the simple stuff without having to travel all across the world.
man. I think you know, like one way to kind of shield yourself is just be incredibly skilled. Like you got to be that guy that, you know, if you leave, nobody knows how to, you know,
Right,
do what you do.
right. Yeah. You have to. Yeah, but how do you become that guy? Let's say you're
Uh,
starting a new job. How do you
mhm.
become that guy and stay humble?
Yeah, I guess you know, like a lot of people, like they run away from additional assignments. You got to be the guy
Hmm.
to say, "Hey, I'll do that. I'll try to. I'll take a crack at this problem."
Yeah,
And you know, the more and more you do, the more and more like you're integrated into that particular system.
yeah,
And you know, it sucks, but life is a competition. Like when they're looking to make cuts, they're gonna kind of evaluate productivity versus what you're getting paid.
yeah,
So, you know, if you're incredibly productive, getting, you know, you didn't push for like too crazy of a salary, like you're not making like 250K or something,
yeah,
you know, they're probably gonna cut somebody else. Which I mean, you know, you don't want to have to think about it in those terms, but that's the reality, man.
yeah,
You have to be good. You have to be really good at what you do.
yeah,
Like say they let you go and you're really good, some other company's probably going to pick you up. You know what I mean? That's why it always pays to be highly skilled and have that
yeah,
visibility on like platforms like LinkedIn.
yeah. But how do you stay highly skilled without driving yourself up a wall? Because when I was I honestly I wasn't pursuing other opportunities Even when I was with 310, it just sort of fell into my lap. And I did have to, like, pick up work at Pillar and stuff to kind of make up for the lack of knowledge, and
Yeah.
um, and sort of finesse my skills, and that's cool and all. But let's say I wanted to, let's say you like, how do you keep a job, manage the stress at the job, plus learn on the side,
Mm,
and keep yourself like sane? Because
mm,
maybe it's just me, but like sometimes there's days where I don't want to look at code after work.
yeah.
I don't want to, I want to do something completely different. And if I had to make it a job to try and always stay ahead of the game, I'd pull my hair out because
Yeah. I
to
say,
me it's like competition. You know?
break things down into chunks, like, and you have like a lot of free time throughout the day. We all do. Like,
Sure.
uh, you know, just take like a five every hour, take a break and watch a video on Udemy. You know what I mean? You have eight
Right.
hours, watch a
Right.
5 minute video. That's 40 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you can watch, maybe like four more after work, and that's an
Yeah.
hour a day. You know what I mean? And that's a pretty good amount. Like, you can finish 6 hour course in a week. It just comes down to being consistent and say, hey, I'm gonna just take this, and really, man, you can speed up the video to 1.25 or 1.5. So really, it's like 3 minutes every hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, realistically, we all like drift off to Reddit or something and waste way more time than that. So
Yeah.
I think it just comes down to breaking things down into chunks, and then spending your time after work recouping. Like, after you watch those 8 videos, and then after work, maybe you watch four more, and
Yeah.
that's like anywhere between 12 to 20 minutes. But after that, the rest of the time is yours.
Huh.
It's kind of
Yeah.
like working out. Like, working out, you don't have to work out for like 2 hours to get results, but you just
Yeah.
have to stay consistent.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Because it's like that's all that matters, right? It's like just
Exactly.
consistency, and and having a system that works.
I think like a lot of people make a mistake that they need to do a lot more than they really need to do, so they discourage themselves. Like, oh man, I gotta sit here for 2 hours after work
Yeah.
nonstop and study this. I don't really feel like doing this, and they just don't do it. You know. Whereas, like, it's really easy to watch a 3 minute video, 5 minute video. Just make sure you're doing it every hour for 8 hours.
Yeah.
I think another solution is like get together with people who are also trying to learn, or y'all can get together and make a project, like do something fun, like
Yeah.
making a game is fun, and it's like a great learning experience. Whereas, like, you're probably not going to want to sit back and watch some dry course on AWS and all of this. But if
Yeah.
the task with, hey, put together the server that we're going to host this game on, you might learn all of that in the process of trying to do.
Mhm. Yeah. Because it's not like, I mean, when you put it like that, it's not. It's no longer in that view of, oh, this is for work. This is like, oh,
Mhm.
setting up this for something fun, setting up a server for emulators.
Yeah.
It's just yeah.
Yeah, we have to find ways to make our productivity fun, like our education fun. Um, a lot of people, they're not going to do that, and that's why they're going to be kind of stuck when all these layoffs occur, because they don't have those skills. Whereas, like, if you're a guy who's full stack and you also know how to do DevOps, and push comes to shove,
Mhm.
need a job, and you're competing against these other guys who don't have half your skill set, and you know how to market yourself, they're gonna pick you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that makes
And,
sense.
realistically, man, like just like trucking, DevOps, developers, companies are always gonna need these guys. Like if
Yeah.
you want a new feature to your product, somebody's gonna have to develop it, or somebody's gonna have to maintain your server. Somebody has to do that, else
Yeah.
you go out of business. So who is it gonna be, you, or is it gonna be somebody else? What makes them choose you over the crowd? I think it's a question we have to ask ourselves.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's true.
So like when you're going into your new job, man, I would say like kind of expand. You know what I mean? Like dive out of the front end a little bit, get into
Yeah.
maybe like DevOps, because I see a lot of job listings asking for that, even front end roles, and a lot of front end guys are unprepared for that. 'Cause they look
What
at it
is that?
almost like, what's that?
What is that?
DevOps.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like AWS, setting up the CI/CD pipeline, like
Oh,
Jenkins
okay.
and all of that kind of stuff.
Got it.
So
Okay. Yeah. I've been getting back into like Cypress testing and unit and like playing around with like unit testing and stuff. Honestly, it ain't that bad.
no, it's not
Like
hard.
the way that people make it seem is like they make it seem like it's a whole nother this whole big thing. But like if I make a component in React and I write a test for it, all I'm doing is just like emulating, like running this this is, I guess for lack of better words, like a copy of the component in memory and saying, all right, it should render this. Like you should
Yeah,
have an H1 tag that says hello user or something. And
yeah,
then like it'll tell you if the test passed or failed. You know?
yeah.
Like it's so easy to make these tests alongside components that I don't understand why do people what's the meme? Like why meme on it?
I think the problem in the industry is like you have people making things way more complicated than it really needs to be. Like they want to appear smart, so they use like this super complicated jargon, and it scares a lot of people off. Like like they used to have, like, you remember like Meteor JS. It's kind of like a back end, front
Yeah,
end together. They're like,
yeah,
oh, it's a polymorphic app. Like
yeah,
what does that word polymorphic mean? That's going to
right.
scare a lot of people off. So
Yeah,
like
that
the
makes
stuff we're
sense.
doing, it really isn't that complicated.
No, it comes with experience. Honestly, like it's all about getting experience and having somebody critique your work, and then like fine tuning your work like over and over and over again. Like uh like back in November before I started working at Pillar, like I had like zero. I don't want to say I had zero experience with Git, but I had very little experience. But now, like 8 months later, 9 months later, like I'm so comfortable with just, oh, I need to like this is my task. Okay, cool. Let me check it out. Let me open up this repo and do this and do that, and then boom, come up with a solution. Like it just takes somebody giving you that opportunity, and then just like working with you like consistently. Like I don't think anybody was just born with the the knowledge or the um with that eye for design or that eye for UI or UX, experiences, right?
Hmm.
Like it's over it's built up over time. Like I had a conversation with a developer the other day, and he was telling me how I was telling him how like I don't really have like a a big preference on tools. Like whatever tool gets the job done, like I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, now like that's your preference now. Like that's your viewpoint now. But like in a year from now, 6 months from now, like as you start to work with like other developers like more closely, um, and you start to see their preferences, you'll start to get your own preferences.
Yeah.
Um, and that may be true, that may not be true, but the way I see it is the way I see it is like over time, like we all have our own preferences. Like what Sean was saying, like he's like I don't like React, like I like Svelte, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and we both looked at Svelte and we're just like, what is this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we're like, okay, well, what's the point? Like, what's the benefit? And uh, and I'm sure you prefer Angular because you've worked with it, way longer than you have with anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I think with time we all get our preferences, and and I forget where I was going with this. I kind of lost myself in the little details, but yeah. Oh, I remember now. It's not hard. It's not hard. It's just a matter of like building stuff and then having
Yes.
somebody else critique our work, because we could think that it's the best thing in the world, but you compare it to an engineer at Google or an engineer at Airbnb or YouTube or the Alphabet Company or whatever, it might be crap compared to them.
Do people at those companies are they necessarily cranking out better code, or is that just our perception since they're the big companies? You know what I mean?
I want to say yeah, just because it's not like it's not like well in my mind's eye, I see it as if I want to pull down and make a change to a repo, my own personal repo, I can do it without going through any merge, without any merge processes or anything like that, or making a PR, or having somebody else like really grill me on my code quality, right? But at at any of the FANG companies, I would think that they have a lot of checks and balances of like, okay, this guy made a PR, let me go through it and just like make sure that it's up to snuff, like the quality is
Mm.
really good before it gets accepted.
Sometimes not, man. You'd be
Sometimes not.
surprised.
Really?
And
Even even yeah.
yeah, what I'm saying. I work at some big companies, man.
Yeah.
You know, I think if you get if when you come in the door with respect, like you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Uh, After a while, people are gonna leave your PRs alone. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he really knows what he's doing. Just
Hmm.
approve it. You know what I mean? Like if you're the lead guy,
Yeah.
the people under you, they're not gonna like be digging into your PRs and say, oh yeah, you know, add this here. Like, I think code reviews are kind of cool, but they can also be overrated. You know what I
Right.
mean? Uh, I was talking to another friend, like he's more like a junior,
Yeah.
and like they just hammer his PRs. You know what I mean? But it's
Yeah.
mostly like the reviewer's preference. It's not like he's making some significant mistake. It's more
Hmm.
like, oh, I like this code formatted like this, so
Right.
change
Right.
this.
Right.
So it just depends on the company you land at. Like some companies, you have those people where they just hammer your PR and it takes like a week to get it in, and the other ones they just
Yeah.
respect what you're doing. But yeah, that's
Hmm.
the way those companies. I would say like those companies, they could possibly attract more talent,
Yeah.
but like realistically, what new products have Google, Facebook, and all of them introduced that's just like blowing the socks off of stuff? You know what I mean? Like they're
Nothing.
attracting a certain like people that are good at data structures and algorithms. They're good at optimizing stuff, but
Yeah.
they're not. They're missing out on a lot of people that may be like incredibly creative. Like what I mean? Like those companies, I don't really see any new ideas. They're kind of like profiting off of the same old thing like Google, their search engine and ads,
Right.
Facebook, their social media, and they're buying companies. That's how they're so-called staying fresh.
Hmm.
Like, no, realistically, man, think about it. Like, what great innovation have
Besides
you
the
from Twitter, Google, or Facebook lately?
uh, so I mean, Facebook is doing the whole meta thing, but I think that's a dumpster fire. I'm not gonna
Hmm.
lie. I think that's not gonna go anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah,
Um,
and Meta really came from the video game industry. Like, they're just doing something like Second Life or PlayStation Home.
yeah. Um, as far as I know, for Google, what is it? They released those AirPods recently. Um, the Google phone, the phones that they've been really going
Hmm.
in on Stadia, which is supposed to be getting shut down soon. I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
Um, and then that's another thing too, like right, like they a lot of these major tech companies release these products and then they just bail on them. Like
Yeah.
if you invested in Stadia, right? Like I don't know any companies that were making games for Stadia, like actual like first party games for Stadia. Besides, I don't even know.
Yeah, these companies, it just really seems like they entered a niche, they dominate that niche,
Yeah.
and it keeps them afloat no matter what. Like Microsoft, they got into Windows and they're dominating the OS space, and that gives them a ton of cash to pump into other avenues. And they're doing pretty good in their video game division, but other aside from that, like the OS and video games, it's like what mind blowing new products are they really creating? You know what I mean? It seems
Hmm.
like the real innovation occurs like almost like video game industry, like the indies, the small companies who have this great idea. They're the ones that really are pushing, things forward. You know what I mean? They're taking more risks.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you, speaking of risks, how do you take a risk, right? Like, how do you go about? How do you feel comfortable taking risks? Do you feel comfortable taking risks
Well, I think like
personally?
with coding, it's relatively cheap to take a risk because it just requires time, and energy. Like, do you feel like coding this app? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the problem, why a big company like Microsoft isn't going to take that risk is because you have to pitch it before probably these committees, like these business guys, and say, hey, we got this idea. What do you think about it? Can we get budget for a POC? Then you got to show them the POC. Do they like that? It's just like a lot of
Yeah.
red tape, and they don't want to pay you to just screw around. Like they want you to be generating profits, and they're like, is this
Yeah.
really gonna generate profits? Go for the safe formula. Whereas like if you're just passionate and you have this idea in your head, nobody's paying you for it, but you're gonna get it developed. You know what I mean? Because you want to see
Yeah.
it in fruition. And a lot, even Amazon, like for the longest time, they didn't turn a profit. You know what I mean? It's like, uh, I guess Jeff Bezos, he had the vision, and somehow he got the financing to fund it.
Yeah.
But initially, I think it was more of a passion project than anything
Hmm.
that really blew up. But like once it did, Amazon is, they did venture off, but like their primary thing is still the online store.
Yeah. 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 Hmm. Yeah. I mean, the way I look at taking risks, right? Like, I mean, you have to have that vision, like that initial vision, right? And you have to be willing to like fail at it, like
Mhm.
consistently fail at it, right? Because I mean, if you get it on the first try, congratulations, right? But then then comes with recreating that success, right? So
Yeah.
okay, it worked. You're successful at this one thing. Recreate it, every day
Mhm.
or every week or every month or whatever. You have to try and recreate that success, and that's the hard part. right? I think we keep coming back to that subject of consistency, and
Yeah.
success is about it's it could be a one-off thing or it could be a consistent thing, and I think that's uh, what matters most when it comes to like pursuing a goal or having an idea.
Yeah, like
You want
nine
to.
times out of 10, you're not gonna be successful on your first try. Like think of Elden Ring. Like you didn't just like ride through it and beat it without losing a life. Like
Oh, no, 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 no. Especially the first boss, it was like some. My first boss in that game was by the beach, so I rode past the giant. Like, okay, so you get to the plateau, right? You go up the elevator, you get to the main area, you
mm,
see the guy with the mask or whatever, and then my first boss was in that cave by the beach. It was a floating cat with a cape or whatever and a hammer. You know the
no,
one?
the jumps.
Yeah, yeah. He jumps and then he like hits the ground or whatever. Yeah, that was my first boss. I don't know how many times I died to that thing. Like I think two or three times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Man, isn't it crazy? Like how like when you first fight, it's like, man, I don't think I can ever beat this. Man, it's just like too hard.
yeah.
And somehow you just like end up figuring it out and
Mm-hmm.
making adjustments. Like, man, this is actually easy.
Yeah, yeah. And to bring it back to like coding, right? Like I used to think like Redux was this really big thing, right?
Yeah.
But then like once I like read through the documentation, had more experience with like just basic state and then the context API, and having an understanding of that, like picking up Redux was like, oh okay, this is just like this. Oh okay,
Mm,
this is how you make an asynchronous call. Okay, cool. Then it becomes less scary.
yeah.
It's like fighting a boss the first time and beating it. Okay, it's less scary because I know the steps.
Yeah.
I figured it out.
And I think like, once you start getting a few successes, like learning and failing is no big deal. That like whereas before you thought failure was the end of the world, or
Yeah,
you're never going to learn this, but you kind of learn like, hey, if I approach this new subject, it's going to be a little difficult at first. I'm gonna be confused.
yeah,
If I stick with it, I'm gonna pick this little piece up, that little piece up, and eventually it's
right.
all come together. And
Yeah,
I'm gonna learn it just like anything else.
no, exactly, exactly. And I think with this fast food generation, thinking about it right now, it's like you have to be willing to take risks. You have to be willing to take risks, and you have to be willing to fail. Everything
Hmm.
is too instantaneous right now. They say that we won't know what the effects of social media is gonna be on our society until like
Yeah.
years from now. But honestly, I think it makes people lazy. Like
Yep.
everything is instant. Entertainment. If you want food, you have it delivered. You don't have to go out and get it. You don't have to go out and make it. You don't
Mm.
have to wait in line. There's no anticipation. You know,
Yeah.
like uh, like I remember back in the day, you go to a amusement park and you wait in line for a ride. Like you're
Mm.
so hyped to get on this ride, and and then when you finally you wait in line 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. But then when you finally get on the ride, you're grinning from ear to ear, like it's like a 1 minute, not probably not even 1 minute experience, right?
Yeah.
But then once the experience is over, it's like it's that, or once the ride is over and you get off, the whole experience is not the 1 minute ride. It's getting to it's walking to the ride, standing in line,
Mm.
waiting to get on, getting on, riding the ride, and then getting off and possibly getting a picture to celebrate.
Yeah.
To commemorate the moment. That whole experience uh, is the experience, like from start to finish,
Mm.
not just riding the ride once or twice. You know, and like uh, to be able to like eat any of your favorite foods without having to go to leave the house and and sit at a restaurant.
Yeah.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah,
It takes away that experience.
yeah. Like you know, like if people kind of step back and look at the film review of their life, it's like, man, I just spent 90% just sitting in front of a screen, like,
Yep. Yep.
yeah, doing what really? Like, well, what are we
Scrolling.
doing to find someone exactly like looking at
Scrolling.
other people supposedly living life? Like, oh, I'm looking at these content creators, these influencers living their best life or whatever. You know, they're not even really live. They're just taking stuff for the gram or whatever.
Yep. Snapshots.
Yeah, they're not even really
Snapshots.
enjoying the moment, and we're watching that. Like,
Yeah. And we're consuming it. Yeah.
isn't that weird, man? When you really think about it, like we're watching other people live their life, but they're not really living their life. They're just living so that they can get people watching and
Yeah.
maybe get money. You know what
It's
I'm
a
saying?
cycle. It's a cycle. Yeah. It's messed up. It's messed up. It's a messed up cycle.
I think the metaverse is kind of like a stronger continuation of that. Like, I've seen
Yeah.
people in the metaverse, and it's kind of like they're not here anymore. Like they're in this other world. You know what I mean? That
It's escapism.
yeah, exactly. And if there's an EMP attack, that whole world disappears. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Unless it's in the cloud somewhere. Well, I mean, well, no, the EMP would take out, electricity and everything else. So, yeah, that's rough.
So like, what
That's
what are, what
rough.
are we really doing, man?
Yeah. What are we doing? That's a good question. That's a real good question.
Yeah, I think we got to limit our screen time, man, like you've been doing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm trying to. I'm trying to, especially like on the weekends, like just like slowly chipping away at it. Like, okay, cut away at it, cut away at it, cut away at it. Like, I've done pretty good with TV, but I'm noticing that I've replaced TV with YouTube.
Mhm.
Like subconsciously, I'll replace certain things with other things that, and I already have an excuse for it. Oh, I need this to for my ADD or whatever. Like I need to keep something in the background to stimulate. I need to hear something or whatever. But then like for example, like I used to wear this like these headphones like all day, and it got to a point where I'm just like, you know what? Let me just take these off. Like
Yeah,
my girlfriend was like, give your ears a rest. And it didn't click until I realized like I wear these things like 5 hours, 6 hours a day.
what
Um,
wireless?
yeah, they're wireless.
Oh man, you
Yeah,
need to get your wire version, man. You don't want them Bluetooth signals.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I mean, I love wireless, man. Like I just hate having the clutter of wires everywhere.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I'm a sucker for wireless charging, wireless, Bluetooth controllers. If this microphone could be wireless, man, it would be. But I don't think the quality would be as good. Um, yeah, I'm a sucker for wireless. Um, but no, man, I try to limit my screen time as much as possible, and I really need to get back on it. I'm noticing I've been giving myself a lot of slack lately, and it's been like my screen time has slowly started to go back up, like creep
yeah,
back up, and I'm like, oh dang, I gotta I gotta get a hold of myself.
yeah, man. We're all like technology addicts nowadays, and it's really a drug, just like any other, man. Like if
Yeah,
you're too involved in it, it's gonna detour your life. But,
yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah. I think you got any closing thoughts, man? I think it's a pretty good time to end this one. We're almost at an hour.
Um, oh, man, just break away from the phones,
Yeah,
get away from a screen, and like really connect with people.
exactly.
Like
I think you
really
gotta
try to connect with people.
just force yourself to get out, man. There's no other like just like exercise. You just got to do it.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, man. Definitely. Exactly.
Yeah, we'll catch y'all next time. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.